Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Doing It Scared. Sorry, just get some things put together so we can get started. So I'm so glad that you're here. I don't know that I mentioned last week, but we sold our house and we're going to be moving by December 5th. So there will be a couple of these that I will have to cancel just because we are going to be staying in a hotel or an Airbnb for a couple of weeks till our new place is completed. So anyway, just an FYI there. Today, I've got a super easy project that we're going to be working on. So I hope you enjoy it. So I was thinking, I don't know about you, but every year around this time, I order my planner for the next year. And yes, I use my Google Calendar, I use my phone, but I also like to have a handheld notebook. So I always order one early so I can start planning my next dates early. So we're gonna paint my notebook. Now, the notebook in the back is like this. It's the same as the front. You can see that I've already used some washi tape and I've created just a lot of different lines to create these patches here of black. So we're going to do a very simple design on this today. We're going to basically put a faded mixed background paint, and then we will go into each of these little spaces and I will either put in some ink drawings, some texture, whatnot. We'll just kind of see how it goes, because I do have to, I don't have it planned out. I'm just gonna see how it goes. Anyway, and for this, I've chosen 5 colors that I'm gonna work with. And please note that obviously you can use any colors. These are just my palette. So I'll show you, I have a turquoise. I have a darker turquoise. This is called Mermaid Tail. This is one of my favorites. Citrus green, and then a bright pink, okay? So yeah, all the colors are pretty bright. Oh, I have a midnight blue because I wanted just a little bit of a dark base. So I like bright, and so I wanted it cheerful. And as much as I love the Christmas season, I didn't want to do another Christmas thing today because I've done quite a few, but it is November, so it's all things Christmas now. So let me go ahead and let's move the camera and let's get started. Okay, that's looking good. So this is a super, super easy process. I do have my 3 brushes. I generally use my 1-inch flat, my number 6 round, and then my detail brush. Probably will only use the big brush. We'll see. I pulled these so if I decide to do something different, because a lot of times I don't have an idea what I'm doing. It just morphs into its own thing. So I'm going to start by adding paint. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the 2026 date. I made sure that was going to be covered in tape. So when I pull the tape off, I can still see that year in there. So I'm going to start with the lighter turquoise. And if I wanted to, I could be really picky and fill in each one a different color, but I'm not really picky. So what I'm doing, as you can see, I'm just dropping some blobs of paint directly onto the notebook cover. I'm going to go with the deeper turquoise next. You could probably do a paint pour on top of this too, and it would probably look really pretty. But I'm going to just do a wash. Okay, now let's do my citrus. And most of this paint, again, is going to end up coming off because I don't need thick paint, but I wanted to have a lot of different colors mixed together. We'll see what it comes out like. Kaleidoscope, maybe that's what I was kind of thinking. Pink. Oh, I didn't shake up the pink. There we go. So we'll just put this underneath. I'm just dripping it. There's no rhyme or reason to anything that I'm doing here. Just looking where another spot of color might be nice. Gonna add another drop of, well, no, I'm gonna do another drop of the darker turquoise in there. So I'm seeing this little spot right here. It's got a lot of pink. So I just want to break that color up a little bit. So just, there we go. Okay, this is probably one of the easy peasiest things to do. Now, again, a lot of this paint will end up coming off my brush and I will be wiping it off on my palette. So I have a choice. I can go across or I can go down or I can do crisscross, whatever. I think I'm just going to go in a downward motion. No, change my mind. I'm going to go in a right to left motion with my paper palette right here so I can just have it come off the edge kind of and catch it. So this is what I'm looking for, and you can see some of the black of the notebook is still shining through. See all this extra paint? I'm not wiping my brush yet. So I wanted to first get all the colors, right? Look at how pretty that is. Let's see. This would be pretty to just, comes out like turquoise. You don't see the other colors. Okay, now I'm gonna wipe my brush. Okay, and I'm going to do a few more strokes, especially so I can get the excess off. Like that. And you can see some of the black notebook is still shining through. It's okay. Just adding some interest. By the way, this is the first time I've done this with a notebook, so I will have to let you know how it wears. But when I'm done, I do have a sealer that I'll spray on it. To seal everything in. But I am, look at the paint, isn't that pretty? I am going to be doing additional things. So anyway, all right, I'm picking up some of this mixture from my palette that I just scraped off because I do want a little bit more coverage through a few of these spots. Now, if I feel like that right there got a little bit too much turquoise, I could pick up some from my palette. Let's try that first. So here's some with some yellow and a little bit of pink. Let's see if I can get, there we go. So I want to get some of those colors in there. I didn't want it to be like, I don't want it to come off as turquoise. If we keep doing it, right, it will, of course, morph into just a muddy turquoise. All right, I like this. This is good. Now is the messy part of removing the tape, okay? Now, it's going to take a few minutes. I'm going to be careful with it. I can't tell you which piece of tape was the last one that I put on, because usually you should go from the last one you put on to the first, so you're not pulling off additional. But you can see I have these small washi tape and then I have a wider washi tape. I did do the small washi after I did the wide. So I'm going to just start to peel up from the outside with the orange. I believe, Carol, I saw that you were watching. Thank you. So this one, I'm pulling the whole thing off. It was able to just go into, I'm going to, came off pretty clean. You can still see it's got the black left where that was. I'm going to be putting the washi tape to the side as it comes off. Okay. And I am being a little careful because I want to make sure that I'm not like putting my hands in it and getting the paint smudged. This one is good. This would be fun. I don't know. See, I like these, and I don't know, maybe we could, in the future, if I thought ahead, maybe I can let them dry and then use them on a future project. There you go. For a multimedia, so we'll see if I can't save a few ones that I can get off in a full stripe. And we'll see, maybe I'll use them again, probably not till the spring, because like I said, we sold our house and I'm all at the phase of getting everything packed. So I'm not gonna obviously save all these, but those longer strips, I don't know. Maybe that's something you try in the future. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it. Got too many. Notice that when I see these start to come up, I'm going over to the side to see where the other strip is so that I can pull it up pretty much and not have it mess up the other patterns underneath. I don't want to pull this and pull things up because then when it falls, it will mess up the shading. There we go. And we got this one. Yes, your hands are going to get plenty of paint on them when you're pulling this off. Of course, as many of you know, because you've been around a time or two with me, that it doesn't really faze me. I am always and always will be a messy painter. So I'm going to just, again, the same with that I used with the smaller washi tape. I'm just slowly pulling pieces up, and then when I get that, like that, where I can see that it is overlapping, just be really careful. Okay, do my best to keep these tails from dropping back down on the book. This is on top of that. I kind of like the look so far. I have to see how. So part of what I'm going to be doing is in the painted areas, once it's dry, like I said, I'm going to be doing some probably black line sketching or something of that part. But on the black part, I want to put some detail in there as well, and I'm thinking right now that it may end up being some white lines with my Posca marker, or Posca, however you say it. You can see I got this edge smeared. I will clean that up in a moment. If I don't clean it up, it'd be okay. See him, yeah, this is where I'm trying to keep from. Got a little smudge there. It's okay because it's going to come off right here. This is just one small piece that I put directly over the ear. And it's one of the first ones I laid down. There we go. Okay. One more piece. And you will see we did have some smudging going on. So I couldn't avoid that apparently. So I've got a little smudgy there. We've got some there. I'm going to let that stay. This side, I'm going to wipe it down and see how much I can get off. So it hadn't dried and it just wiped right off. And I'm also going to wipe this edge down through here that got a little bit of paint on it. So I'm going to be doing something else there. So I'm just using my rag. You can use a paper towel. I like to use the rags. They absorb more, and I go through paper towels way too much. Okay, so let me I'm going to see if I can kind of pick up some of this with the dry brush. Has a little bit that stays there. I'm okay with that. I will just incorporate that into the design. Those are the real big areas that I saw. Okay. I have this splotch here from it folding over. I'm okay with that. Again, pretty okay with this. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot more with that area. So the next thing I'm going to do, first of all, I wiped off my brush and the other brush, and I'm going to put these right now into the water, and we are going to work with a white tip, and it's probably not even open yet. Let's see. Okay, so this is a Posca pen. It is a paint pen. To get it started, you're going to just put the nib in and squeeze it down a few times. This is a fine tip. I do have some broader strokes. I just haven't used them yet. So I do have, here's this white one, and then there's a really big fat white one, which I haven't opened. Let me open this one to make sure this one is working, because I could get different line thicknesses. See, this is a little bit more of a bullet tip. All right, yeah. All right, so I'm going to start with this bullet tip. And I'm going to start with the outside edges, because if I go into here, some of that is still drying. You know me, look at me, I'm already messy. I will go in here and I would end up putting my hand in it and ruining this shading that I just created. So I'm going to focus on the outside edges right now. And again, I don't have any design pre-planned. This is just me freewheeling it. Now, I would really love to have a nice straight line there. However, again, I don't have a ruler right next to me, so to accommodate that, I'm just doing a wiggle line instead. Kind of framing out all of this. I wish I could tell. I think I've got Cheryl watching, but when I'm working on this, I can't see comments and such, so I apologize if I'm not calling you out, but I appreciate all of you. All right, so I did a squiggle. I'm going to do another squiggle. I kind of like that. It kind of looks like white chalk on a chalkboard. So I don't like this, so I'm going to put a big little circle in all of the corners. That's how I cover up my messes. Make it look like I wanted to do that. Now I'm going to switch to the finer tip. And I'm trying to decide what to do. If I'm going to do a small wavy line, I'm going to not do a whole line. I'm just going to put some little waves in the corners, in the dips and such. I'm really wanting to be sure that all of this is dry before I start working in any of that area. And now I'm going to do the same thing on top. I like how this is coming out. My curves aren't as straight and neat as I'd like, but you can see it's giving the appearance of movement. So really, if you know somebody that uses a day timer like this all the time, this could be a really fun Christmas gift. A personalized day timer. You just get a basic one and you can paint through it and add your own designs. You could do a floral. I decided to do a little bit more of an abstract. Just wanted to get some things pushed around. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dots at each of the waves in the border. So I can promise you, I can tell already, that, oh, I did them. I lost track. Okay. That I'm not going to finish this within the hour. So we'll go right up to the hour, and it's because of the paint drying. This is a project that's going to take a little bit longer. If you're just painting a scene on there, you could, like on a canvas, you could go ahead and do that faster and then let it dry. But I'm wanting to add a lot of this fun stuff. So this area's got some smudgies. I'm kind of thinking about what I might do with that. I want to be careful again because some of this is wet. So I'm going to work in areas that, let's see, are good and dry. And I have some areas that have small lines, some have thick lines. I think I'm going to start with a simple framing with the small white tip. So as you can see, I'm just adding some white around each of the shapes and lines that the tape has created. Again, I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to smudge, especially these little areas, because those can really, I like them. They're just little hints, but you know that they're there. It's like little slivers. And this way I'm highlighting what I want, not what I don't want. Again, any of these things, like through here, that's messy, if I want, I could use my black Posca pen and fill in and then wait for it to dry and go over it with the white. Y'all know I am not that precise. Again, I love to create. I have fun creating, but I have very little patience, which is why all of my projects are done quickly. I'm not one that can come back to it like 2 days later. So, nope, got to get it done right now. If it's going to take more than 2 hours for a painting project like this, then I won't do it. I just don't want to take the time because I have no patience. All right, let's go ahead and continue this. Trying to be very careful not to get into any of this paint. By the way, if you use this and you go into white to some dry paint, you're going to transfer that color on the tip, and it's going to take a long time to get it out. That's what happened with my other tip, and I had to spend a lot of time getting it out. It was with black. It got caught up in something, so now I know that I'm going to make sure everything is going to dry completely. And I'm going to be very careful not to touch any of the wet paint. There we go. I went across here. I didn't mean to, but that's okay. And I'm thinking, I'm going to do, as I'm thinking, I'm going to do some, like I said, black ink on top of where we painted. I was going to do some sketching, but I'm also now looking at this and I'm thinking I'm going to add some inspirational words as well. I don't know, in different areas. So it'll be really fun to see how all of this is going to come out together. Okay. Especially this area right here, that would be a great place for a message. Notice I'm not worrying about putting straight lines on the back side because the border's already there. And to do that, I'm afraid I'd have my hands shake sometimes, and I don't want to take a chance of anything ending up in the paint. Because this is a layered effect, you can see there's still globs of paint that are drying. So typically I'm going to continue with the white, letting this dry because I want it good and dry before I do anything, like I said, on top of it. And I will say I usually use a black Posca pen for things. Chances are with this project, I'm going to use, on these areas, I'm going to just use a fine tip Sharpie. The reason being, if it's a painting that's going on the wall, I don't use a Sharpie because over time it will fade to like a brown color. However, I'm only going to be using this for a year, so I don't need this to hold on to color and look great, for a long period, for a couple of years. I just need it for this season, this next year. So probably won't have any problems with the fine tip Sharpie turning brown. And again, the reason I like to do that is because sometimes with these Posca markers on top of the paint, even dry, it can transfer some of the color. And these are a little bit more expensive than your Sharpie markers. So I'm just going to use a Sharpie because I'll probably use it that one time and the tip will get a little bit funky from being on top of paint, and I'll just throw it away when I'm done. I don't know if you guys can see that, but this is a super cute little shape. Notice I'm not joining them on the edges. I'm keeping the edges open where the two lines intersect and meet. I did do that side. Okay, I got all of them outlined. And again, now I'm going to be filling in some of those. And so that I'm going to start with this big area right here. Okay, just gonna wing it. I don't know that I'll like it, but we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna do okay, so this I'm gonna fill in with a texture. Going with the theme of angles, straight lines, curvy lines. And let me see. And I moved over to the thicker nib. I want this a little bit thicker. I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can see on the tip has some color on it. That's because before it got into some white paint, but as you can tell now, it is still delivering white paint now that I got the top out. I'm not sure that they transfer very differently. So I'm gonna just keep using the smaller one. All right, let's do shape here. And I'm gonna do one. There, let's bring that together. And do one more. Oh, here. Let's do one here. It's these big junctions that I'm looking at right now. I'm going to be doing fine detail work in other areas. But let's do... That was where that little smudge was. I was able to cover that up. And I feel like I need something right here, but I don't have a big splotch that does that. Kind of looks like highways. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've got some of this. I want to soften all of this up. And there goes my lid. So I'm just going to do some varying little daisies around. So I'm going to start in these big areas. So these are just going to be little free-handed flowers. Oops, let me make sure. Every once in a while, you might have to spush the tips again because of it just needs a little bit more paint loaded. And I think I'm going to do flowers at all of these intersections. And then I'll go back and do smaller ones. This is like the perfect spot for a little flower. Mm-hmm. So far, what do y'all think? If you're watching, you can leave a comment in the discussion. As usual, when we are done, this will be here available for you to view on Facebook for a total of 30 days. And then if you would like to view it, you can go to my YouTube page because I do upload them there. Not always as quickly as I would like, but they do end up there. This could be fun to do as the girls get together. Maybe the first of the year, you could paint, you could actually create like a vision board on top and seal it all in. Your goals, things you would like to accomplish. If we don't write them down, then they're not really goals. They're just thoughts in passing. Like, oh, that'd be nice. But writing them down, putting them where you can see them to motivate us to continue to work on those goals, no matter what they might be. Let's see, going on this side. It is getting kind of busy, isn't it, here with all of this? But that's okay. Once everything's done, I think it's going to be very interesting to look at. And who knows, later I might get colored markers, and if I'm bored coloring the flowers, we can always do that. And as you can tell, I'm not real concerned about exactly what the flowers look like. They're just there to add some whimsy. Some curved lines amidst all the straight. Got about 20 minutes left with y'all. I definitely won't be finishing this in the hour. We might get the white parts done, but let's see. Again, what I'm doing is I'm finding places that I know that I want one to kind of connect things, and then I'm going to go back and put in more in other areas. I will put in some in the smaller areas as well. Let's do another one right here. And I feel like here, it's kind of reminding me of my Waze app. Like, I'm looking at the flowers as cars, right? And they do pop-ups telling you where you are. And, oh, there's going to be a stalled car this way. Okay, so I'm seeing I have a big spot here and a big spot here. They don't really intersect, but now because I want to make sure I have more of that in there, I'm going to go ahead and add some, and then we will be adding a few more details with our white paint pen. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going through and adding smaller ones, filling in areas. So I feel like if you don't add more, it just looks unfinished. And of course, that's up to you when it's finished. If you like a lot of pattern, don't. I'm again filling in these areas. So some are smaller, some are bigger. Okay, 15 minutes. Just having a little bit of fun here. As usual, again, I'm not going to be able to finish this while on the, what do you call it, on the live, because we're going to run out of time. So I always post a finished picture in the discussion on this event page. And then again, you can always come back and I only do the video for an hour. I don't keep it going when I'm done, but you can see the finished product. As you can tell, I'm getting smaller with the flowers. I'm just going to be continuing this till I've got what I like. And as usual, the hardest part is knowing when to stop, when you've got enough, because sometimes just one more stroke and you've gone way too far. So you can tell that I'm not trying to do them in between these little lines because I know that I will not do that well. What I will most likely do is I might add in some dots or something of that. We'll see. You'll see eventually, right? Even though I'm using a paint marker, you do have to be aware of the marker, and it does need to dry. If I put my hand over what I just did, I'm going to smear it. I'm going to do just a little dot right here. Yeah, I think it needs some little more accents. As you guys know, I'm not an artist. I just enjoy creating. So hopefully this gives you ideas that you can create yourself. If not, I'm fine with you just watching. So yeah, I'm doing some little dots in some of these areas. So some of them are going to be bigger, smaller, different sizes, different textures. And right now, I mean, with this project, what you're seeing is it just, your eye is going straight to the white, right? So don't definitely come back and look at the finished, because once I get the black on there, it's going to balance everything with those colors. But right now, yes, it is taking over. And one thing I'm doing with these dots is I'm trying to make sure I'm using a variety of sizes. If you want them all the same, you can do them all the same. Let's go in here. And I'm not necessarily putting them straight like in the middle. Let's go back over on that side. So to me, with the dots and the flowers, it's like the dots are kind of looking like, what do you call it? Stars, planets. Doing some big ones. I'm gonna go in and check in. Can't really do anything because I made that wonky in there. Can put there. So yeah, see, I'm looking into these little spaces. Now, you don't have, again, you can buy acrylic. I do have an acrylic marker set with a bunch of different colors. I have just gotten to where I prefer to just use paint most of the time. But this is one of those things that I could use the markers because it would give me a little bit more control. However, when I'm painting, I don't like going back and forth. So unless I plan it, I'm pretty lazy and want to stick with what's right in front of me. And of course, around these flowers, I'm not going to be able to fit like any big dots per se. But I'm going to go and do those and then go back in with the tinier ones. Running out of things to talk about, y'all. It's unusual. Okay, I'm gonna go back in here with some little ones. Breaks all that space up. Now, I'm not going into any of the pinks. I want them to like stay in their lanes, so to speak. I may change my mind later when I start adding black to the painted part of the surface. We'll see. And if I don't like it, guess what? I only have to live with this for a year. I will not just dump it and go buy another one. It's just me having some fun. One of these days, I'm going to get my sister on here because she has really great ideas. She is the real, true artist of the family. My mom, I attribute to our artistic bents. She was always very crafty, as well as my Aunt Judy. And I really enjoy, I enjoy painting and stuff. So I really love that my mom encouraged that when we were younger. We always made teacher gifts for the holidays. We would always make our, gifts. Mom would have us doing some sort of craft to give to grandparents and that kind of stuff. stuff that would stay on their refrigerator. And knowing my mom, she probably would keep it every year. Probably my grandma too, but you know, most of us would probably just throw them away. The end of the season, keep them for, you know, we got to keep them for your grandkids to see that when you're there. But I know with my kids, I would just bury out their artwork. So I'd change it up from time to time, and I didn't save all of the things that they made. Probably should. They could look back and have those memories, but they got me for a mom. So I am always looking to get rid of stuff. I want to keep on. I want to keep stuff for the benefit of memories, but then I'm like, unless my kids care and they want it, it's probably going to be gone. I take pictures of things. The things I do keep, like I have a couple of ceramic pieces that my girls made with clay that they did in school. My one daughter made what was supposed to be a penguin kind of vase, and it came out, it's very cute, but it came out a little different, and I love that. I have one from my middle daughter that was an angel that they did for their ceramics part in elementary school. And my middle daughter doesn't have as much patience for this kind of stuff. And I got it and I loved it. And I said, did your teacher do this for you? And she went, yeah. Because it was like very, very perfect. And she was like in 3rd grade at the time. So almost getting ready to work on the painted surface. Let's finish up with these whites. Easy peasy. Okay, it looks like I've got pretty much everything. You can always come back and add more later. But it looks like the paint is dry. So we're going to pick up my Sharpie. I don't know about y'all, but I just love it when colors come together like this. In the spring, not spring, I should say new year, I'm going to be experimenting with some paint pouring as well as possibly some alcohol inks and dyes and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so now I'm with my Sharp fine tip Sharpie. It's not really a Sharpie, it's an off brand because they're cheaper and I use them in classes. I'm going to do a black outline at the inside of each of my basic shapes that I have for the things. So here, this is where it's smudged. I'm going to work on making it look like I meant for that piece to be there. This is a little bit that already came off on its own. I'm just going to make that part of that line. Oh, see, that's still wet right there. So I need to come back to that. So it's wet on the surface, but when I put my pen down, it was still smushy. So it was, still got some drying to do, layers, which is why I will probably have to come back to this in an hour or so to finish and then get it posted, because there are some areas that I do know are a little bit thicker in the paint situation. And that is the thing when you're doing like the smush technique that I did. Almost forgot what I was doing. Okay. I'm wondering if anybody would like me to do a live class with painting notebooks. Doesn't have to be this design. It can be any design. I'm always looking for new things to paint on to give options to my guests. You can see this was a little bit teeny tiny triangle. I just put a black little triangle in there. I'm not going to be able to put any type of design in that little space. So only the big spaces are going to be open. Okay, for a minute I thought I lost some of my ink there because of the paint. We've got 3 minutes left, so I'm going to turn the camera back around, guys. And I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me. Again, you can come back shortly and you will see the finished project, and then I will be putting this into YouTube. If this is your first time here, say hi, okay? And then I would love to get to know you better. If you haven't gone to my website yet, www.passport-creative.com. Please do so. Get on my email list. I sell take-home kits. I do live events. I take private parties. So you might find something there that you like. And I also put my videos on my website as well. So go ahead and take a look. And then if there's anything that you want to see, let me know and I'll try to make that happen, okay? Everybody have a happy Wednesday. And we are now officially in the holiday season. Woohoo! Yay! All right. Happy holidays. See you soon.